Yeah. How you doing?
Hello, hello. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. Where are you based now?
Right now, I am in Florida.
Okay, okay, Florida. So we're out in the UK, so we've got I would think about a 5 hour time difference and stuff.
Oh, yeah? What
Yeah,
time is it where you are?
it is about 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's about 10 o'clock at night, but I just thought it'd be yeah, a good time, a good opportunity, really, to yeah, to get to interview you. Listen to your single, "Leave Me," and really impressed by the vocals, and I think that's the one thing that the song itself was really electrifying, but it was really the vocals. So what we wanted to do is do the first part really is to get an understanding of where you came from. I mean, how did you start singing? Because you have to understand, it's not every one of us can get a single out. So it's very special, very unique to be able to get to the position where you are. But if we can go back to the beginning, where you were brought up, where you were raised, and how you started singing.
Okay. I am born and raised from Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Um, I would say my musical background began with my grandfather. My grandfather was actually a singer. He
Okay.
did alto, soprano, like he did it all. He did all of it. And my grandmother on my father's side, she actually did plays, you know. So this is something that I feel like is part of my DNA, you know. Of course, singing in church,
Oh, okay.
growing up, that's a strong base. But my first professional try at it was with a group called Lump Sum Mafia. But with that group in particular, it was a challenge for me to rap. So I was actually rapping in that group,
Okay,
but
so
I'm
we
not
could.
I'm not a
Okay,
rapper. I'm a
okay,
singer. But
okay. So
it
we
was
could.
a challenge and I couldn't back down from that challenge. So I had to execute that.
Okay, okay. So if we go back then, so you've got your grandparents and stuff who were singing. Did and you started in church, started to sing. Were you sort of pushed into that, or was that stuff that you just natural? Because we hear a lot of stories
No,
from Whitney Houston and all of them who sing in church, and I wonder if it's stuff that as a kid you have to do it if you go to church, or is it stuff that if you want to volunteer?
no, it was more so voluntary. Music was a getaway place. Um, my upbringing was a little different from a lot of others. So I used to go to music. We used to have the little CD player,
Yeah,
the Walkman. Well, not the Walkman, but you know what I'm saying. The
yeah,
um, the
yeah,
CD player that you walked around with.
yeah.
Oh man, that was my getaway. I used to sing and read books. So when I tell you that it was a passion, it was a passion. So growing up, not only would I listen to music, but I would pay close attention to the vocals.
Mm,
The vocals carry a frequency. So you're able to hear what that person is feeling. So it takes you away to another place. It's just like reading a book using your imagination.
yeah.
So that was something that intrigued me to wanting to create my own music and share that with the world. You know, I
But
felt like that would have always been something very, very purposeful of me for
yeah.
me.
Now you mentioned that it was a getaway. Getaway from what? Because it's, we're in England, so life is kind of can be quite different. So what were you mean about getaway from what?
A getaway, I would say, because I wasn't raised by my mom or my dad. I was
Oh,
raised by my grandparents.
okay,
Um, Paul and Mary Moss. Those are my grandparents. That's the name that I carry.
okay,
Um, and I would say that's what they did. They made something out of nothing. They didn't graduate. Matter of fact, they made something out of nothing without even getting to middle school. They were born in the 1930s, 1920s, so they were up in age.
yeah,
Education was just almost still forbidden for them,
yeah,
or I would say once they started to get into education, they just weren't able to, move forward.
yeah,
So I always took the determination that they had and always kept their faith in God. I think that was the most valuable thing that I got from them, was an introduction to, my creator. And
Okay.
that's what I've really relied on all my life.
Okay.
Always walking by faith. So I say
Okay.
that's where that passion came from.
Okay. And
The
so,
foundation in music and faith right there.
okay. And so that you said it was a getaway from. Did you then sort of miss the family upbringing, or was the neighborhood rough that you had to sort of use that as a way of not keeping yourself out of trouble? What's
Right. I feel like, excuse me, I just want to go to a more private area.
okay?
I felt like growing up, not having your mom and father,
Hmm.
it's different. It's very different. It's a different type of upbringing. You will wonder why, your parents are not there for you. But, and also in turn, they had their own journeys as well. And it wasn't the norm, but not everybody have the norm. And I was just one of the ones who didn't have the norm.
Yeah.
So I could have turned out any way. Could have been angry. I could have been vengeful. It turned out a lot of ways. But the roughness and the maze of my life is actually what created me to be who I am. And I feel that I will be able to relate to a lot of different people in so many different ways on so many different levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a full-time psychotherapist, and I work with a lot of young children under 18. Some of them are looked after, same sort of story. So we know it can be challenging and stuff, but it's always interesting to see how your experience, it didn't break you, but it kind of made you as to who you are and stuff. So then, you're going to church, you've got your grandparents who are supporting you, you've got your faith. The music side now, you're listening to music. What are you listening to? What kind of music is inspiring you back when you're young and learning your craft?
There were a few different people that stuck out to me. I would say Tina Turner did, because he came from somewhere where people would say was nothing, a city, a small city out in the middle of nowhere. Nutbush, Tennessee, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me if I'm wrong, people.
Yeah.
But when she sang from her core. You was able to feel it. It's like she sang rough, yet smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever frequency she was on came through her music, through her sound. And I also love Tamia. Quincy Jones had a mixed album.
Yeah.
And Tamia's voice captivated me.
You put a move in my heart.
I learned to use my that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
Yes. And oh man, and I trained my diaphragm to her. Wow. I would turn on the surround sound system in the house, and I'd turn it up as high, and I would still try to match it even at that level.
Wow.
So that's how I learned to use my diaphragm and my lower keys, because I feel like I could do a lot of different keys. I'm not stuck in one range with one sound.
Yeah.
I would sing to a song that a man would sing and try to match his tone, and that particular person was Cisco. I love his delivery, where he gets his melodic melodies from. It's a lot when it comes to music. You listen to Sam Cooke and you listen to all these different people, and though they were recording in different times, it's still relatable now in these day and times. Something like the Word. So that's what it is. It's a form of ministry, whether it's secular, whether it's whatever, because whatever perception your listener gets from it is everything.
So I mean, that's interesting. I mean that's probably one of my tops. The You Put a Move in My Heart was written by Rod Temperton, who wrote Michael Jackson's Lady in My Life and Baby Be Mine and Thriller. and so he wrote that. So that's that. Yeah. So there's a powerful track, and so at this young time, so here you are listening to Tamir, listening to Cisco, training your vocals. What was in your mind about? Were you thinking about a career, or were you just enjoying the music and just saying, "Oh, this is stuff I enjoy doing"?
I was just enjoying the music. I was just enjoying the music, and just the thought of being able to share it with other people was just like a secret dream. It was like literally a secret passion.
That's because I was talking about when you were just singing and learning and practicing and stuff. Were you thinking of a career, or were you just singing for the fun of it?
I just knew that I always wanted to be able to be in the industry, to share my craft, and if I was able to even make money on the back end, I was happy with that. Just to be able to be in the surroundings. Never would I have imagined that this would have happened like this, and even now, because it's like, why now? You know,
okay.
Because reality is reality. I went to school a couple of times. I have my aesthetics license, and I just received my medical assistant certification.
Okay.
So it's like all of this stuff played all together. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy.
Okay, so before we jump into the career and the single and stuff, we're just trying to get to. So when you were doing this singing, were you singing in school, or were you still singing in church, or where were you actually?
I was in chorus at Palmetto Senior High, and we had a chorus there, and that was one thing that we were allowed to do. That was an after-school activity I was allowed to partake in. Okay. When it came to the choir, my grandfather had his own church, so we were at the choir, the family. So we made that happen. Once I got older, at New Shiloh, I joined the church, but I wasn't able to really, grow within the church. I ended up moving to Georgia. So yeah, that's how that went.
Okay, so but I'm just trying to get the actual performance. So because it's one thing to sing, at home and among family and friends, but it's actually another thing to actually test your vocals in public, to week in, week out. And so when did that really start in your life, where you were every week you were performing and people were hearing it, and at least you could tell that you actually could sing?
To be honest, I think the one time when everybody really paid attention, because I was in that group, so I was doing little things here and there, going back and forth to Georgia. But I think the time that really caught everybody's attention was when my mom passed.
Oh.
And I was singing at her service. I did sing at her service, which was, I think, the most hardest thing I'd ever had to do, because I had to not only sing at her service, but I had to control my emotions.
How would we?
And that's by far the hardest thing I ever had to do. This was technically 4 years ago.
Okay.
So after I did get my mom back in my life, I think I had her for about a good 10, 15 years, and then I had to let her go again.
Wow.
So yeah, that was very, very hard. That was very hard. I moved back from Georgia to Miami to take care of her. I was actually supposed to tour with Convict Music with the group in 2016.
Okay.
And that ended up not, coming into fruition, because I had to pretty much make sure she was, okay.
But, okay.
With the Convict Music, that was my first really professional showcasing.
Okay.
To see if I had what it took. As of singing, that is very, how can I say? It was very uncommon. I went and had a vocal lessons with vocal coach Romeo Johnson. He's really big in the US. He's pretty much did vocal lessons with any artist that you could possibly think of. So I was like, I'm talking Michael Jackson, Janet, Jennifer Hudson, anybody that you can think of. He's touched them, he's touched those vocal cords and got them where they were supposed to be. And I went there for vocal lessons. and pretty much, that's a make or break. If you don't have what it takes, that's who will tell you, okay, baby, it was nice,
Yeah.
but this is not, maybe you should
Yeah.
do this, or maybe you can do that, or we can work on this.
Mm.
But he actually told me that I have an instrument that I don't even know how to use yet.
Wow.
So, I think that's what gave me the push to say, you know what, that's a flame that just wouldn't die.
Yeah.
Because after that vocal lessons and recording with Father MC for the first time, because I did that within the same visit to the West Coast. After leaving and going back to reality, where I was, of course, training for my medical assisting, I ran into one of Father MC's his first set of artists. And that's how we got reconnected with Father MC, and all of this became into fruitation.
Okay. So we jumped so far forward that I need to go back a little bit, because we've got you moving to Georgia, and I'm wondering, did you move to Georgia to sing, or were you just were you again?
I actually moved to Georgia after Mom passed. I went to step out on faith and try to do things on my own. I actually partnered with a second cousin of mine, and excuse me, we partnered for a full salon, which I did my skincare.
Oh,
now my skincare, I would mingle with a lot of different people. Yeah. And of course, in entertainment in Atlanta, that's very big.
Oh, that's what you went to Atlanta.
So of course, that was part of my networking. Yes. Okay. So I met a lot of people there, and rubbed elbows and tried to, get a sense of what it would take, to get myself, seen or noticed, I would say, the right way, you know. So we ended up ending that journey. And I started, just really having to face reality, because I had children to provide for. And while I was there learning how to survive on my own, facing my reality, my dreams, kind of like it fell on my lap. Like it just happened like that.
Okay.
So it was one of them things where you have to be focused, or on that path. Otherwise, if you did something wrong, you would have missed it.
Yeah. So so now you've you sort of so you really still thought, I'm going to get into this music. Now, did you learn to just sing, or did you learn to write? Did you learn to play instruments and create your own sound, or what was it? Just mainly the vocals that you focused on?
Well, growing up, I would write a lot. I would always have a composition book like this right here.
Okay.
And every time something comes to mind, I would jot it down.
Okay.
So yes, I like to write. I like to write a lot, actually. That's how I captured the thought of whatever it was I was thinking at the time. It's just like a lot of times when I look back at my photos, I wonder, what was I thinking at that time? It's the frozen moment of a photo, but it's the frozen moment of whatever I was thinking at that time as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what music is as well. When you're going through whatever you're going through, that's the feeling that you're going to give off. So whether you heal from it or not, whether you go back and listen to it, that's where you'll have that deja vu, or you'll remember whatever you were feeling at that time.
Yeah. So so I'm just trying to get those as a writer, songwriter. Do you just write down the songs? But what about the melody? What about how it might come out? That part of it. Did you partner with anyone to say, okay, this is what I've got, and they would come and write the music to it? Or were you able to do the two?
My sound went out. Oh, nothing. I'm doing this interview. My sound went out.
Looks like you're back.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I was asking is that you've got your composition book, you're writing down stuff, but what about the music behind it? Did you learn to play so that you could then write and compose sounds, or how did you work that out?
Do you mean for the actual project itself?
Well, no. When you've just shown me your music book where you've been writing down all your songs.
Oh yes.
How do you turn that to music? Do you play instruments or?
I don't currently play any instrument, but instrument that I did play was the clarinet.
Okay.
I love the sound of clarinets, but I don't currently. No, I don't play any instrument.
So how do you turn your what you've written down into the melody and the music?
I use my own voice.
Okay.
You know, I will start by humming.
Okay.
And I would get the melody of what it is that I want to say. A lot of times it'll be how I'm feeling, and then I'll replace that with words, and then I would then write it down.
Okay.
So it's always something that's coming from a feeling. It's never something that I'm like, okay, let me sit down and write, and then it's always based upon whatever I'm feeling at that time. And I think that's how I was able to deliver it as a whole entire project. But I would always jot a few things down, and then I would build from that. Once I learn it, that could possibly be the hook, or sometimes it'd be the verse first.
Yeah. And
then I'll just, keep building like that. It's just really weird. It's unexplainable. It's one of those things I would not be able to explain how I write. It's one of those things that's just how it's done. Just like a lot of people learn a different type of way. That's one of those things. I write how it comes. I don't know how to explain it.
No. As I said, it's every artist has a very different and unique way of creating the music, and so looking at just looking at the project that you've been on and the journey you've been on, how did you get to, you've met up with Father MC, they've given you an opportunity. How did that whole part come about? Because one thing to meet them is another thing to try and move forward to try and get, how did that journey start?
Okay, so through an ex-boyfriend is how I initially met Father MC, and we went to Vegas that particular time for his fiance's birthday party. Okay. And he also had some other artists, who he was working with at the time. So we went up into the into their room, and the girls were singing, and I was enjoying it. So, he was like, I heard you could sing, let me hear what you got. And I was like, this is about them. This is not about me right now. I'm just here, as a guest. So this is not the time for that. And I don't know how he got me to sing, but I did sing for him. I sang a riff. I'm gonna say that. I sang a riff, and he asked me to sing again. And he said, you know what, I just had the hairs on my arms just stood up. So, we went from there. We continued with dinner. I went back home to reality. This is why I was saying I was in school. I was in class in this particular time, and Bishop came in to see his mom, which was my teacher, and we got on talking about music. So I told him, oh no, you can't tell me nothing about music because I recorded with Father MC. And he was like, Father MC? I said, yeah, that's what I said. And we like, because we had a common person that we, crossed paths with. So I FaceTime Father, and they, gave him the phone, and they went, they caught up, and they got reacquainted. And from that spark right there, that's how this came to be. So like I said, I came back to reality, and my dreams became my reality.
Okay. So see, so we're looking now at this project now. You've got this single called Leave Me. What was behind the single, the song, and what were you singing about? Okay,
so that project came after me leaving a relationship.
Okay.
My ex-boyfriend, the person that I mentioned before. And it was, I would say, the first week right before they announced the shutdown for quarantine for everyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got out of town before sundown. And I remember one morning I was up and I was talking to my uncle about, everything that was happening. And he was like, well, you should reach out to see what's going on. So while I'm thinking about reaching out to Bishop ended up reaching out to me. We then began talking because he wanted to figure out what I wanted to do next. He remembered us in our meeting with fam, and he was like, we want to figure out what you want to do next. So he in turn, he reached out to Father MC, and they worked out a plan to, put me in the studio to actually get some singles together. And once I actually flew out there, I did the 3 tracks first, and then after that, more was requested. Wow. So once more was requested, we just got in the lab and we did what we had to do. So of course, this particular track itself was very important, and it stood out the most because I feel like that's what I was going through right at the time. Okay. And the purpose of that song was to tell individuals, woman or male, if you're in a relationship, it doesn't just have to be physically abusive. It could be a mental thing. Yeah. Some of us feel like we are stuck. It's all a mental thing. When you think it, that's what it is. Yeah. So my thing was, it got to the point where enough was enough, and I'll try as much as I can try to even alter myself for what you may want. But when something isn't good enough, it's just time to go. Yeah. Because then you're starting to break yourself down for something that you're just not. And for me, pretending is not, I can't pretend, and it just didn't work, Yeah. So my thing is, sometimes you got to break your own heart to save your heart. Yeah. So when I left, a lot of things that were being hindered, all my blessings started coming in when I was thinking I couldn't do certain things without the help of a mate or, someone. Yeah. Me taking that leap of faith and doing it by myself, all of this happened. So that's what this song talks about. Just tell them to leave you. Because sometimes a lot of people don't want you to leave. So you tell them to leave, and, move on from that. That's how leaving came to be.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, it's, because there's a part when you're singing it and then your voice goes really high, and I could hear the Tamara in that. I could hear some pain in the song. Yeah. But strangely enough, the person that came to my mind was a Marie. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
But I think maybe because there was an attitude in how you were singing the song. And I remember I worked briefly in LA at Edmonds Entertainment, and she was the general manager there, managed Marie. So I remember before she came out with Why Don't You Fall in Love, I could see her walking in and out of the office, very sassy and stuff, without she hadn't released stuff. So there was an image there. But so did you sing?
That's a classy and jazzy image.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, but did you sing some of the? Because I've heard a number of tracks from Father MC. Were you the one singing on his on some of his tracks? There's one I can't remember. Did you sing on any of his tracks his new tracks?
I did, and I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it was New York, I believe, because we did a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I know I have sang on his
okay, some of his stuff.
Tracks for the album. Mm-hmm.
So, what is the plan now? How many singles have you recorded over since? I mean, you're talking about since for the last 3 or 4 months. How many did you record apart from Leave Me?
There's actually a few of them. So
Okay.
right now we do have some stuff in store, and we don't have a date for an album release yet, but
Okay.
we do have more coming. There will be
Okay.
an album drop.
So what's going to change now? I mean, if especially if you're starting getting singles out, it goes big and stuff. What do you think would change? Where do you think it'll take you? What are you looking to do?
Of course, mastering my craft, but with the platform that I have, I feel like down here in Miami, Florida, our children here, we need recreation centers. We need somewhere for children to actually, target and put their dedication and time to outside of school. We don't
Mm,
have that, or at least it's not up to par. We need somewhere where kids can put their talents to work
mm,
and also find hidden talents.
yeah,
We have a lot of people that are from here that do a lot of drives and whatnot, but we need something for real for our people down here. And I think because the children are our future,
yeah,
why leave them to the wayside to where they make mistakes first when we can have those who did take a step out
yeah.
come back and show them a way out?
Now, are you
So that's what I
planning?
want to do. I want to give other people a chance because I know what it's like to not have that chance.
Yeah, but are you planning to stay? I mean, music-wise, are you because it's either LA, New York, sometimes Atlanta, but are you looking to still base
Oh,
yourself in Miami?
I don't know what the future holds. I think wherever a lot of my business will be is probably where I will settle. But I would always like to be a little outside of that area anyway, in a quiet place. I don't
Yeah,
think I want to be in none of the major cities.
yeah.
Yeah.
So have you done any showcases? I know we've got the lockdown and stuff, but have you done any
Well, as
performance?
of right now, like the record has been released a week now on all major platforms. So I
Yeah,
haven't done anything quite yet, and I'm looking forward to, having these showcases. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Now it's I mean as I said are there plans for the video or what's the have they said anything? Is it just released a single out or
Well, I know we're getting ready to focus on a photo shoot.
okay.
So we're getting ready to do a photo shoot, and that will lead into getting ready to prep for a video. There desperately has to be a video for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No, it's been really fascinating just hearing, your story, the sort of the in everything, the ups and the downs,
hmm
that has really crafted you. And if you had an opportunity to meet any of your people that any singer, past or present, who would you want to get to meet up and sing next to?
who is now living?
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be Tina. It has to be Tina Turner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be. Everybody else, will cross paths, but it would be very rare to run into her.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, I think I've made something happen if I can meet her, and
Yeah.
to actually be able to perform or even just sing for her.
Mm.
That'd be awesome.
So one question I normally ask everyone that when I interview is that if you were stuck in an elevator and they said, look, it'll take about 2 or 3 hours before we fix the elevator, but we can give you a movie to watch, what would you want to watch?
Why are you gonna put me on the spot like this? Because I'm such a movie lover.
Mm.
Well, I'm stuck on the elevator, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means I'm gonna be there for a few hours.
Yeah. About 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. But one
Okay, so
movie.
believe it or not, one of my favorite movies is Lord of the Rings. So
Okay.
if I can get all of them, I think I'll be all right with somebody
Okay.
come.
Okay. You got Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really good film. That's that
I
trilogy
love
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Then if you've got, okay, we've got the movie, we're about to put it on, but it will take about 5 minutes. What song would you request to listen to?
Um, Michael Jackson, Heaven Can Wait.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's so I did a top 10 Michael Jackson verses with someone, with somebody who's close to him. And my number one song was "The Lady in My Life." That's my favorite song in life.
Yeah, that's mine too.
And then "Heaven Can Wait" was number two, because I'm a massive Teddy Riley fan, and he did that with Michael. And
Beautiful.
I wish they had released it as a video and stuff. Okay, that's
Yeah.
well, that's. What do you like about that particular track?
Because that's definitely some unconditional love right there.
Yeah.
You hear me? Because if God say, okay, come with me now, because later you might mess up and can't come with me, right?
Yeah, okay.
And you say, hold on, God, let me go in. That's some real unconditional love.
Oh wow,
And
that's really deep.
he know how to how to deliver.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
to deliver. So
Yeah.
that's what I got.
Wow. Okay, that's really good. That's really. I never thought about it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is one of. They didn't release as a single and stuff, which was disappointing and stuff. Well, that's really great.
Yeah.
I think, just as we wrap up and stuff. I mean, when you think about yourself, is there an artist that you'd look at and think, this is the trajectory, this is, I'd love. I mean, you mentioned Tina, but that's, Tina, Michael, and Whitney, they're quite a different types of breeds.
Yes.
But when you think about yourself, and because music has changed since Michael and Tina and Whitney, and the artists are quite different. So what would you?
I would say, once again, I love Tanisia.
Okay.
Her range is phenomenal. In my right now, I've grown up on much younger artists who've also made an impact on me wanting to pursue this as well.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, a person to where whatever album she comes out, I'm picking up. I would say Tanisia, because she gives you something. She gives you something to think about. She's just not singing about anything, you know.
Yeah.
So,
no. I mean, that's. I mean, as I said, that's amazing singer, amazing range. Her first single that she came out with, "Put a Move on My Heart," was out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
But no, it's been really fascinating, hearing from you. Fascinating hearing the struggles and the journeys and stuff. It's not often that we get to hear the background. I think we focus a lot on, oh, there's a new artist, here's the song, what's going on and stuff. But for me, it's always, I think, for people that have watched what I put out, like to know the story and like to know, okay, how did she get into it, and what did she overcome? Because I think what COVID is showing, we've got a lot of people who've passed away, and what we're trying to see is people have had to overcome hurdles. And even though you get knocked down, but you still get back up again. That was a song by Tony McClurkin. We fall down, but we get up. And it's one thing to hear the song, but it's when you hear people actually saying, "Yep, I got knocked down so many times, but look at me now." Yeah.
And just when you think, okay, that's it, it happens. So it's one of those things where you just have to believe in yourself. If you stay true to yourself, all things will come to pass. You just have to have that faith. And as Kurt Franklin would say, then he said, the size of a mustard seed, that is really real. When people be dropping these gems in this music, people have to take heed. They just have to listen to the right stuff on the right frequency.
Yeah, you keep saying frequency. So what when you mention frequency,
when I say that, okay. Yeah. Prime example, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Depending on when he's singing, when he sings rough, get that rockish mic. And then when he's singing something very emotional, it's like it's a certain way that you deliver it, and it's pulled from a certain string. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the vocal cords. It's like you're pulling on certain strings. You have to pull at it a certain way to get out a certain emotion to where people can hear you. You have singers and then you have singers. So it's I don't know how to explain it. It's a certain way that you can tap into your own soul that people can hear it when they hear it.
Yeah.
Over the radio frequencies, So yeah.
Well, I mean, Butterfly by Michael was another song where he was very tender. Have you heard that one, Butterfly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you say frequency,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about him singing normally, then he just goes up in the high range and stuff like that.
But even when he's singing sincerely, like when he sings at a softer key, you can still feel that too. So it's like, oh, he's the perfect person to say, okay, now when you listen to him, you can
Yeah.
feel where he's coming from or
Yeah.
what he's trying to get you to feel. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, it'll be great that we've spoken to you now, and then, hopefully when you're like as a Beyonce sort of level, that we still get a shout out and an
Of
opportunity
course.
for.
Oh gosh. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but
Thank
as I
you.
think if there's any advice to give and stuff, it's just, they want to stay grounded and stuff, but I think it's, if you always remember where you've come from, it's quite easy in the midst of fame, success, and everyone coming down to kind of forget that and just believe the hype and just believe in everything and sort of lose the way and stuff. So, but if you always have something to help you ground you down and remember what you've been through, and people like Denzel talk about having their higher faith and their faith in God as a grounder to ground them, that says no matter how big I get, no matter what I do, how much money I make, it's nothing, because if I die today, that's it all stays behind and stuff. Yeah,
that's very true. And I think that should be the core for everyone, the rock for everyone, to keep them, on track. Because like you say, it's very easy to veer off or to get into ourselves or think that we can do things, but it's not us that's really doing it. It's just a how can I say, a path that was already created that we're supposed to follow through on.
yeah.
So when we do go off, that's when we get in trouble.
Yeah.
And when we stay on, that's when the blessings rain. So that's how that goes.
So I think finally, stage name. What's the stage name that you're going with? Because I got the email had Nisi, and so wasn't sure what the stage name that you.
Well, see, we were gonna go with Nisi because that's my nickname, and a lot of times my name is mispronounced.
Okay.
I mean, it's been like that even with family members. So it's I'm so used to it. But my stage name is gonna be my first and last name, Tanisia Moss. That's how it's pronounced.
Tanisia.
Tanisia Moss.
Tanisia Moss. Okay. Yeah. So as I said, it is true that it can be challenging. No, not challenging. I think people want to maybe Tania or Tanise, or so I can imagine how that could be.
Yeah,
but
Tanisha with an H.
Yeah, Tanisha. Yeah. But Tanisi, but pronounce it again.
Tanisha. That's why I would say Nisi.
Nisi.
Because that's the core. Tanisha.
Yeah, Tanisha. Well, I think the more unique it is, the more it gets people talking. Whenever if it's and I think that will serve you well. But it's been a pleasure. I'll probably go watch Lord of the Rings again over the weekend. But
I am too.
Yeah, but no, to find somebody else. Not many people talk about Heaven Can Wait, because I don't think many people hear the album. But as I said, that's a jam there. So the fact that you've heard it. So what I'm gonna do when I do my smooth jams on next week Monday, I will play that, but I'll have you do the intro, so that I'll have you with a clip with you doing the intro, then the song gets played.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. Well, thanks for the time
you.
and stuff. It's about almost midnight here, so I'm just gonna go finish this and then.
Oh God, bless him.
Well, have a good one and stuff.
You too. Good night. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed our talk.
Oh, it's been great. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.